It's a big day today. In honor of Hip Bump's existence, I'm holding a celebration for the ages. It's odd though, for such a big event no one's shown up yet. It's fine though. This will be my final hat trick to get people to show their support. Just as long as I don't show them its sequel!
1-2-Switch came out to a collective. It was the Switch's launch day. Everyone wanted something to play besides Breath of the Wild, and so 1-2-Switch had a reason to exist. What does he have to say to that? Being a $50 tech demo with little replay value left a sour taste in many people's mouths. But it was mainly wrote off as a one-off joke from Nintendo, as the hype for the Switch was so high at the time. So when sales numbers came in exceedingly higher than what anyone expected at the time, I think Nintendo's gear started to grind a bit in the background. But the game seemed like a one-off demo meant to show off the use of the Joy-Con. Surely this wouldn't become its own franchise. Well, in mid-2022, however, a report came out stating that a sequel to the launch title 1-2-Switch had been play-tested with consumers.
Party's back on!
The game had been perceived pretty poorly by the playtesters, many even deeming it horseshit. So what did Nintendo do to respond to these concerns? But who knows, it has been a year since that report dropped. They could have listened to the players' concerns. No one else really seems to be talking about this game either way, so one way to find out. Welcome to everybody's 1-2-Switch.
Everybody! 1, 2, 3, 4, Switch!
Off the bat, I'll state I wasn't a huge supporter of 1-2-Switch when it first released. I had fun with it the first 2 times, but after that, But this is everybody's 1-2-Switch, so this one has got to be for me.
No! It's for everyone!
So you open the game and are left with a decision to either play with Joy-Cons or phones? This threw me off my guard. That I was not expecting to see. We're greeted by our host, MC Horace. I'm terrified. Who approved this? In games like Mario Party 8 or Wii Party, you get a fun mascot that fits with the game. Here, you get the year 2013, 10 years later. Something just feels off about him, man. I wouldn't even trust him to water my flowers. Entering the menu select now, we are left with a couple options. There's the main game. You can play in short, medium, or long variants. Of course, we'll be choosing the slow def route here. We have settings to pick from, default pure rules only in this house, and we're made to choose sides. I, for one, stand my ground. Now, since we're playing the long game, the first team to 7 points wins. You gain a point by simply winning the game with your team. The games are chosen by a random spinning wheel. Pray to God you don't land on Hip Bump 2.
Every masterpiece has its sequel.
Play game, repeat. Honestly, this is a basic but fun concept. But I smell smoke and something's burnt. Yes, the games. While I haven't played all the games, I lasted through 2 long matches, so that's at least 2 more than you have. My take on these is that a majority are what I like to call not good. They can take from a minute to 5, and vary wildly in quality. The Joy-Cons can only do so much, man. Look, they're good for detecting basic waving motions, but I feel like with a large chunk of these games, they are gifted in some way in how they should play. To start, I want to mention how each one forces you to sit through a 30-second to minute-long explanation of the rules of how it works, even if you've already played the minigame before, and you can't even skip it. This is Gaming Dev 101, come on now. The first 1-2-Switch even lets you do this. Playing the actual games, man, I feel like they already got the most out of the Joy-Con from the first game. The first game relied on the idea that, oh, you don't need to look at the TV to play, you look at each other. That was its identity, and while shallow most of the time, it was at least a commendable idea. Here, there are some that you play away from the TV, some that require you to use it, and some you would think you wouldn't need to, but you end up having to anyway. So, it's lost its one original identity, and now feels even more like a random compilation of underbaked minigames, more so than the first game even. And a lot of these feel like rehashed versions of games from the first, or ideas that were done in previous Nintendo games copy and pasted out. Quick Draw and Samurai Sword Fight, Wii Party Hide and Seek, and Joy-Con Hide and Seek. While some of these actually expand on their predecessors' ideas, like Samurai Sword Fight, some are just inherently worse. While playing Joy-Con Hide and Seek, literally only 8 feet from the console we hid a Joy-Con in a flimsy cardboard box and it lost connection. In Wii Party, I could practically hide that Wii remote a mile away and it would still connect. On top of that, there's an overly long 3-minute timer, and the Joy-Cons are so loud with their rumble, no matter how much you bundle it, you'll be able to pinpoint where it is immediately. Overall, it's still hide and seek and kinda fun, but I'm going to whip out Wii Party in a heartbeat instead. Oh, but what about the other games, you ask? Oh, very funny. This game includes 17 total mini-games, 11 less than the original. On top of that, 4 of which are smartphone exclusive, 5 are Joy-Con exclusive, and the rest are games that can mingle with one another. This is confusing and only leads to annoyances. If you want to play a Joy-Con exclusive game and you're logged in as a smartphone, you have to back out to the home screen, select Joy-Con, relog on all controllers, and then you can play Balloons, which is just that one Mario Party minigame, by the way. The excuse for only having 17 minigames is that each one is much more in-depth than anything in the original and includes different variations.
I never knew they dropped a new squat.
These variations slightly change how it's played and can be nice, and overall I will agree that there is more replay value here than the original, but is that really saying anything? A lot of the games at their core are too basic or straight up not fun. UFO is the biggest offender in this regard. You have to match the motion of the champ being played, and by doing so, escort your alien closer to Earth or away. You play 30 seconds of it and never again. Or that's what I would say if you had the chance to pick what game you'd want to play, but this godforsaken wheel is in the way, and so you're forced to play things that you would never want to. How about musical chairs? Literally, if you move at all after the music stops, your Joy-Con won't recognize you as stopped, so the best strategy is to literally slam your Joy-Con on the ground to win. I do want to point out the phone exclusive games, as these were by far the most fleshed out and fun of the package. Bingo, Color Shoot, and above all, Auction, I thought were all actually pretty fun. I could go over the rest of the games, or I could save you some time. Okay, hip, good, unfortunate, good, good, best, why, bad, okay, bad. Any Kitchen Timer fans or Relay Race fans, I am sorry to disappoint. I mean, besides that, what? Bingo, Quiz Show? They gave them separate mode selects on the selection screen, but they're the same things as the minigames, just, presented differently. Not to mention, Quiz Show has quite possibly some of the dumbest questions I've ever heard.
Gloves are something you wear.
Earlobe.
I mean, Bingo is kind of fun, but it's Bingo. If you play on your phone, you can upload a pic from your photos to be your icon in-game, and if you screenshot it and try to view it on your Switch, Nintendo censors it. Thank God the kids hate Grimace. Overall, to call this game terrible I think is overkill, but to call it good, no. I can't deny I had some fun with it, and even when it was actively not being fun, I at least can make fun of all the baffling decisions they made designing these games, like having 4 variations of balloons. I'm telling you, when Hip Bump 2 appeared on screen, I absolutely lost it. However, I feel this game lacks the identity the first one had, and the usage of smartphones, while I get and while cool, made it feel almost soulless oddly. Like my friend, he uses an older model phone, and he wasn't able to play half the phone games because it wasn't up to current date. That's something that just smells of shove it out the door, they'll buy it anyways. The whole presentation felt like capital greed, and that's something I don't think warrants a purchase.
Man, that was a wild party. I think I really got people into the hip bump scene. Okay, maybe a little too much.